naturally peace. The mountains are forgiving, forests let you sleep. And if you are a traveler, there is a golden road. Destination Pacific Northwest, a future to unfold. Take on a Spokane rhythm, bring the kids along. Baby living, come on children, sing a family song. Take on a Spokane rhythm, bring the kids along. Wondrous places, smiling faces, there the world is on.
More than 100 summers ago, the pioneers came. They came in search of a second chance at the good life. And they found it in the Pacific Northwest. It's still here. The beautiful America of spacious skies and purple mountain majesty. It's here. The serene America of ancient ponderosa pine mirrored in mountain lakes. It's here. The wild America of game-filled forests and trout-laden streams. Here. It's all here. In the Pacific Northwest. And this summer, there's more. This summer, the Pacific Northwest is host to America's only World's Fair in this decade. Expo 74, a different World's Fair. Different because Expo 74 goes beyond gathering nations together to wonder at the marvels of technology, challenging nations to seek harmony between industry and environment. Expo 74 is a forum for international cooperation, imagination, and celebration. Celebration for tomorrow's fresh new environment. What better place to celebrate this environment than the heart of America's most spectacular outdoors, the evergreen state of Washington. Spokane, Washington is a living expression of what Expo 74 is all about. The hope of progress without pollution. The builders of Expo 74 reclaimed from urban blight 2 islands in the Spokane River. Until recently, these islands were a network of abandoned railroad tracks and empty warehouses. That's all gone now, and today these islands are the site of Expo 74, the core of a city reborn. Along the banks of the Spokane River, the fairgrounds converge with the central city in 100 acres of quiet pathways and grassy knolls. At Expo's close in early November, its parks and gardens will become a vital legacy to the people of Spokane, a memorial to man's commitment to his environment. Expo 74 will be the scene of a series of international symposia on restoring and preserving our natural world. From May to early November, you will have the opportunity to come and discuss ecology problems of your community with outstanding scientists and environmentalists from all over the world. The United States Pavilion is one of the structures that will remain on the site. Here, on the world's largest movie screen, immense imagery will involve you in the spectacle of America's natural phenomena. The United States has selected a theme that rededicates America to man and nature, one and indivisible. One of the most dramatic pavilions belongs to the Soviet Union. In this huge recyclable structure, the Russians display for you on quite a grand scale their outstanding achievements in environmental improvement. And in a restaurant nearby, you can lunch on the fruits of their labors by sampling the best of Russian foods. A feast for your eyes also awaits you in the exhibit of Russian contemporary art. You may sip your afternoon tea in another corner of the world, Japan. Outside the Japanese pavilion, a formal garden with ponds and lotus lilies transports you back to a more tranquil time. But inside, Japan presents a picture of future life with a working model for the cities of tomorrow, pollution-free. Other contributors include France, bringing to Spokane over 100 years' experience as a leader of international exhibitions. And Australia, bringing you a look at the vigorous new lifestyle down under. And the Republic of the Philippines. And Iran. And West Germany. While the Republic of Korea and the Republic of China display more of the Orient for you, our neighbor to the south, Mexico, will show you more of your own continent. At Expo 74, you can dine on tamales and tortillas, south of the border style. With its vibrant colors, the Mexican restaurant is a celebration in itself. The Canadian Pavilion is the scene of more celebration for man's greatest resource, his children. The Washington State Pavilion will host a multi-million-dollar exhibit of the best in American and Canadian masterpieces. This collection will include paintings by Frederick Remington, Winslow Homer, and Joseph Stella. The Washington Pavilion is also the center of global entertainment this summer. Here, in the State Opera House, you will see an endless parade of talent as distinguished as the Los Angeles Philharmonic, Eugene Ormandy and the Philadelphia Orchestra, as humorous as Bob Hope, Victor Borga, or as vigorous as the Moiseyev Dance Company. And if that isn't diverse enough, you will hear the rock sound of Chicago, the nostalgic sound of Lawrence Welk, and the folk sound of the Irish Rovers. The King family will be in the spotlight, and the Chinese Opera of Taiwan and London's Royal Shakespeare Company will share the summer's playbill. But the music of a World's Fair can't be confined to a single pavilion. Expo 74 has its own band, and you never know when they'll be likely to disband for a bit to entertain you as you stroll through the fairgrounds. Wandering minstrels, barbershop quartets, and pickup jazz combos make showtime all the time. None of the participants at Expo 74 is immune to the high spirits of the paths and promenades. In their pavilions, Ford and General Motors present versatile transportation systems that help meet the safety requirements of man on Earth. The Bell system celebrates tomorrow's environment in terms of movement, the movement of ideas. In the Bell Pavilion, you'll see how future developments in communications will affect your own personal environment. At Expo 74, you are more than a passive witness to all this. You are an active participant in the most fascinating changes of our times. Changes that prove man can work and play in harmony with his land and his neighbors. With concern for our future, the World's Fair invites you to savor the richness of our past. Along the banks of the Spokane, the Folk Life Festival, produced in association with the Smithsonian Institution, recreates a time when man was in harmony with the land. The Northwest, a gift of the earth, is a 3-acre park that celebrates the cultural heritage of the Pacific Northwest. From May to early November, you can pan for gold with Idaho miners, or chow down with a woodsman in a logger's mess hall. More than 1,500 craftsmen and artisans will bring you their unique talents. They'll make that history live again for you. The carefree abandon of a carnival is the prevailing atmosphere of Expo's amusement park, especially at night. From high atop the giant wheel, or as you travel the aerial tramway high above the fairgrounds, the magic of Expo's pyroelectronics and torchlight parades will enchant you. One of the many focal points of Expo 74 is the Spokane River and the rushing waterfalls. In a gondola safely suspended by cable, you will explore the white water. Just when you are beginning to think that maybe you are learning a little more about the falls than you really wanted to know, the gondola swings upward beyond the crashing cascade, and you wouldn't have missed it for anything. Because the Spokane Falls are what Expo 74 is all about. Nature at its unspoiled, beautiful best. The falls are the heart of Spokane, Spokane is the heart of America's most spectacular and scenic outdoors. 100 miles south of Canada, 300 miles east of Seattle, Spokane is within a day's drive of more than a dozen national parks in the United States and Canada. When you come to Spokane, you become a part of the Pacific Northwest. Come to Spokane and camp the Cascade Mountains, challenge Mount Rainier. Come to Spokane and fish the Columbia River, explore Sun Valley. Come to Spokane and Jasper and Vancouver. Come to Spokane. This summer, the Pacific Northwest is Expo 74. So, come to the World's Fair. It's all here, every bit of it.